That sound never gets old. So hello and welcome to the DBS. However, as the title of this video would suggest, it's not about the DBS at all. No, today is a truly monumental moment of which I have spent months planning and building up to. I thought by the time I got to this stage where I could address you about this exciting announcement that I would have had my words together by now. But honestly, it still hasn't dawned on me as to the significance of what is going on. So I'll just say it as it comes. Aston Martin, together with Q Division, are creating a JWW edition DBX. Now, let me just set some further context. This isn't me creating my own one-off car for myself. That's actually how this project started. When I first drove DBX, I couldn't get it out of my mind. It just felt like the perfect daily driver. Beautiful. I likened it to a Vantage on stilts. It drove so well. This is a car which is a series production run of vehicles. Because it's developed in conjunction with Q, it's available as a left-hand drive and right-hand drive car, which means it's available for sale globally. And the first customer cars are going to be hitting the roads in March. That's right, we've actually already sold 10 of these cars, despite the fact that we haven't launched it yet, just by showing it to friends and various prospects. Now, what is it that makes this car special? Well, there's going to be a lot of journey unfolding to highlight all of the exclusive components which make up the JWW edition DBX. But just as some highlights, we have our own badge. Now, listen, that is such a big deal. The badge has been unchanged in Aston Martin for over 100 years. In a minute, we're going to meet up with Marek Reichman, Chief of all things design at Aston Martin, to set some context as to these incredible components. And let me tell you, I felt more like a politician trying to pull off some of these options because they are so exclusive. So we have our own badge, which is classed as jewelry because it's so beautifully handcrafted by artisans in the jewelry quarter of Birmingham. We have Valkyrie paint, more on that to come. And this is a pretty big one, exclusively, it is the only Aston Martin DBX that you can spec with an Alcantara interior. I know, hard to believe, but you currently cannot spec a full Alcantara interior in a DBX. Now you can. So until our clients' cars arrive in March next year, Aston Martin have created some beautiful 3D renders of what this wonderful car will look like. So, before meeting up with Marek and highlighting all of the incredible details and the significance of this project, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the JWW edition Aston Martin DBX. So here we are in the iconic atrium of Aston Martin HQ here in Gaydon, and we are with none other than Marek Reichman himself, Chief Creative Officer here at Aston Martin. The words about to come out of my mouth, I can't actually believe is happening. Yeah. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be part of this incredible project. So for the audience, I just want to preface really how we got to this stage, because I still need to remind myself that it's actually real. So going back to the tail end of last year, we were very kindly invited out to Oman to drive the pre-production prototype of the DBX. Prototypes generally are a little bit rough and ready, and everyone's saying, oh, don't worry, it's only about 80% complete. But even at that stage, I was actually blown away that I'd be happy at this stage. Yeah. It was that good. And it just so happened to be right at the tail end of that year. So it was the last car that I drove that year, and it just stuck in my mind. I was like, the breadth of ability of this thing is ridiculous. And actually in that video, I did sort of lightly express that I'd be interested in speccing one. So I had a phone call from Gaydon, why don't you come down, check out the configurator and see what you think. So I did, and I came down, and not to do Aston a disservice in any way, but the spec that I wanted at that time, we couldn't actually do. The reason being, I wanted Alcantara. I think, you know, everyone would think to get that fabric in there is just an easy tick box. Yeah. But as we'll explain shortly, it's not. What we're going to do in a minute with Marek is walk you down the line of these three distinct examples of the various different levels of Q car. And as we go down each one, we're going to draw parallels between the DBX. So please introduce us to the wonderful world of Q, because I think it's slightly unknown, right?
It is absolutely slightly unknown. And before that, DBX is brand new. It's still brand new. We've actually only just launched the car. We've only just gone through the international press ride and drives, and we're just getting the press feedback now. It's critically acclaimed as a game changer in its class, brilliant, dynamically, etc. You drove an early prototype. You had a dream. We have met your dream. You said, I want X, Y, and Z, and we're going to do that. And some of the reasons that originally the items that you wanted were not on the spec is when you go into launch, you try and restrict some of the options. But Q as a division, the bespoke nature of our business means that we can work with you to create something super special, which is exactly what we've done. And it will be the first DBX with Alcantara.
Yes.
It without any doubt, the first DBX with Alcantara on the inside.
So just to preface, I did intro the project in the car on the drive down here. Almost just to remind myself again, actually, this isn't me speccing a car. This started as me speccing what my dream DBX would be like. And as we got further down the journey with Q, and I was actually, you know, bouncing it off friends and stuff. What do you think about this? People expressed interest in it, and we actually ended up submitting orders for 10 cars. And we haven't announced this car yet. So we'll run down the options which are part of this car, and this journey will unfold over the next few months. But it's just bonkers, mate. I can't believe it.
That's effectively what you can do through the bespoke service, and it's really there to give you exactly what you want. And there are various levels on the menu of how you can walk up to what you actually want. Your dream we've met.
Yes.
10 cars spec'd, sold, out there, will be out there eventually.
It's crazy the words are leaving your mouth
based on your vision.
A minute ago, you mentioned a word menu, which I think is a great way of explaining this lineup, really. So tell us where it starts then.
So
with Q.
We've just gone into the restaurant and you're looking at the menu and you're ordering off the menu rather than having something which is already pre-prescribed. So here you're picking a la carte.
Okay.
But it's already been created.
Yes.
We've already done the design and the development, the maturation of the color, etc., because obviously everything that you put into a car has to go through a process.
Yes.
It has to be color fast, UV fast, etc., etc. It's got to pass all our safety standards.
Yes.
But we don't show everything to everyone straight away. You have to go on the journey to see the things that have been created. And here you're seeing a car that's been created from those bespoke items.
Yes.
So they exist within the Q range, and you can build your car to that Q specification. The stitch, for instance, this is a unique stitch pattern. So it's created, it exists, but we don't apply it to the standard car. Unless you go into the Q menu, you won't get the stitch. And we've done very much the same with your DBX specification. So you look at your menu and you kind of say, I don't like any of these. Do you have the Wagyu beef that someone told me about last week?
Yes.
You want that menu.
You want that one,
Here you go.
Okay. One thing I will say is when that menu comes out, bearing in mind there are 3 stages to this. This is what's known as a Q collection car.
Yes.
In a minute we'll go on to where this Q journey can go. But even where this starts, the menu is endless.
Oh yeah,
it's huge.
It's extreme. You know, I think if I look at our standard color palette, you know, there are millions and millions of combinations of just the standard palette. So we are 26 standard colors of both exterior paint, interior leathers, Alcantaras, and then you get into the Q palette. I mean, you can go into the hundreds of millions of different options and combinations of. And we still hand build our cars today. So
amazing,
every
really.
car is a fingerprint. And even if all our cars were black on the outside and black on the inside, because they're handmade,
yes.
they're made with someone's fingerprint.
Yes, everyone's slightly different.
Everyone is slightly different.
Yeah.
And so what you then end up, if you come into Q and
yes.
you personalize, you bespoke the car, you get something super special within that range.
Yeah.
And if you like, this is the menu that has been created, but it's the special menu.
Sure.
And the car
yes.
that we could walk to next.
Yeah. So I guess the parallels we're drawing on this car is that our DBX will have bespoke contrast stitching in there.
Yes.
We're not giving away too much on the car right now because we will take you along the full journey of this. This might be a good time to talk about paint.
Yeah.
One thing which will be exclusive to our car is a Valkyrie-based paint on a DBX, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
I think we went down that journey because having had the fortune of being able to spend quite a few days around DBX, one of its standout features is its sculpture. I just think it's a shame to lose its lines because it's got so much depth to it.
It's a beautiful car.
Yeah. So we've developed an exclusive paint to this car, which is based on a Valkyrie paint, which conveniently we have a similar foundation of on this V600 here. Speaking of extremes, talk about the other end of the menu. Well, in fact, this isn't on the menu, is it?
This isn't on the menu.
Okay.
This is basically you arriving in the restaurant and it's just you.
Yep.
And there's your Michelin star chef.
Okay.
And you go in and you say, today I would like X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And in our terms, that's a blank sheet of paper. And you saying to me, I would like a unique bodied 2+2 convertible with a V12 in it, where every single panel is changed for your specification.
What a journey.
So
that
it's,
must be.
these cars
Fantastic.
are bespoke cars, not just materials and color.
Sure.
They are completely bespoke cars. And
Fantastic.
we can go all the way to making one of those, two of those. Another example would be the CC100.
Yes. Cool.
That was a V12 based car again, open as a speedster. We only made two of those cars. So there will only ever be two CC100s. Yeah.
Fabulous.
And paint-wise here, Slipstream, think of Slipstream. And why do we call it Slipstream? Because it's a Valkyrie-based paint. It has a unique base coat, unique top coat. It has some lightweight properties. It's got some other properties in it, and we can't talk too much about some of the extreme paints that go on Valkyrie.
Sure.
But I can mention one.
Yeah.
One of the paints that goes onto Valkyrie has ground moon dust in it.
Some next level stuff.
And that's how extreme you can go with Q by Aston Martin. So
it's a
customer purchased some moon rock. The moon rock has been ground to the mica that exists in the paint. So those flecks of what is normally aluminium,
it's actual moon.
It's actual moon. It's moon dust in the paint.
Just incredible stories, huh?
So that's again, if you want something truly bespoke, that's the service we can provide.
Phenomenal. Yeah. So, Valkyrie paint on your DBX, super special. And then, really, what's been helpful having all of these cars lined up is our last car, which for me helps set context as to where our DBX sits. So we've just seen a Q collection car. This is advanced operations car.
That's right.
And this is a Q commission car.
Yes. So special series, if you like.
Explain how that differs really, because there's some options on it which just completely don't exist. That's right.
So this, if you like, this is the halfway house between the two. So it's the special menu again, but you ask the chef just to do some unique items for your dessert or your starter. So it's that special menu. So you went a la carte again. And then you decided, you know what, I just want a little bit extra. So one of the great features here, and it ties into your DBXs, is the unique badge. So this is one of 24 only cars. Done in celebration of the win at Le Mans in 1959. We presented 24 59 edition DBSs. A very special package, lots of unique interior items, presented at Le Mans, on the grid of Le Mans, in front of a DBR1 from 1959.
What an experience.
And one of the unique things we did for those 24 cars, and bear in mind, your car, the DBX, also has a special badge. We never do this.
Yes.
So we have done it. We've done it here, and we've done it for a handful of commissions. Your car gets one, but here you can clearly see the badge has changed. So this is sterling silver, with the enamel inlays clearly of a Union Jack.
Yes.
To celebrate the win in '59. So this is something we never do, and we're doing it for you.
Yeah, which is unreal. So as we started to go down this journey, I didn't naively realize what a big deal it was to even suggest, oh, could we tie the theme of the badge in with the theme of the car? And I think Miles was in the room at that time, and he was like, hold on a minute, lads. You know, I was like, I don't know, but it turns out that's a really big deal.
Imagine taking the Chanel logo and saying, could I just turn the C's the other way?
When you put it like that.
That's our 107-year-old corporate identity. Yeah. The language of the company comes through the wing. Now, there have been some quite extraordinary wings in our time. Yeah. One of them, which is on a one-off car, this was inspired by Bamford and Martin, probably in the early 1930s. Yes. Let's call it a little bit earlier by inspiration from the scarab beetle. And the reason being they were heavily into Egyptology, and as Tutankhamun's tomb was being exposed, if you look inside that tomb, there appears to be Aston Martin wings everywhere. Right. And of course they're scarab beetles. Yes. So this was inspired by a scarab beetle wing from Egyptology.
Crikey, I didn't know that.
One customer read the story, presented me with a scarab beetle, and said, could you please inlay the wings into the badge? So there is one scarab beetle based badge that exists in the world.
So moon rock and scarab beetles, just a day at the office, right?
Just a day at the office.
It's absolutely absurd.
That's why I'm still smiling.
That's why you're still smiling. So in terms of exclusive ingredients from various different menus, first DBX with Alcantara in it. And I believe it will be the first and only for some time.
Yes.
We have a Valkyrie based paint. We have its own badge.
Unique stitching.
Unique stitching, there's also, and I don't want to give too much away yet, because what I really would like to do for the audience and journey is to set just how much work goes into these things. We have something very trick going on the interior surrounding infotainment area.
And you don't want me to tell you too much about that, or the audience?
Just a little bit, maybe.
3D printing?
3D printing. That'll do.
That's all we need to say.
Okay, great.
Which obviously is incredibly modern tech-based way of producing a material. It basically goes from CAD, so creating a computer-generated image, to making it in 3 dimensions. Without a tool, without a process, it goes data to object. And that's the magic. So you can really have anything you want within a confined space.
It's actually amazing. I'm sure we've all sat in cars and gone, you know, that's nice, but I wish it was just made of this, or I wish it felt like that. If you go through Q and you speak to them nicely enough, it seems you can push boundaries quite far, actually.
You can,
I mean, honestly, when this journey started, it was like Alcantara, please. You know, now we've got this crazy paint, amazing badge.
And I think all of that together, again, because you're working with the experts, your vision, and sometimes you need your vision to be pushed in a certain direction to make sure you optimize the opportunity, and people go, wow, that's a cool spec. It's unique in that it's that spec as well, and people will see it, and obviously they can come and order another one for sure, but it will be unique and it will be super cool, because Alcantara, again, as a material, it just changes your perception. As soon as the door opens, you have
an Alcantara,
completely different feel. And you typically with an SUV, because you're stepping up into the car, you're touching the seat, or you're actually touching something before you get in, and that will be Alcantara.
The other part for me was I was genuinely, I mean, it is like a Vantage on stilts. It drives that well. I was thinking, with this being pure leather, when you want to grab it by the scruff of its neck, it's a little bit, you know, slippy. So I could just do with some Alcantara here. That won't be a problem. And it's sent us on this whole journey, and it's transformed into this project, which honestly, on the drive here, for me, I know you do this all day long, but to have my name associated with an Aston Martin is blowing my mind. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Because it's you.
It's just such an incredible honor and journey to go down, and to think that these cars will end up on the road in different parts of the world. You know, it's incredible.
I think one of the things that you've done, having had the benefit of driving the car pre-release, pre-launch, pre-development in a way, the last stage of development,
It was.
you already had a perception of what the car would be when it came out. And of course it was going to improve. And what you just said about its advantage on stilts, it's also a car which has less pitch and roll and yaw than advantage on a racetrack.
It felt physics bending in that aspect.
It is incredible to drive, and I guess what you've done was you took that sporting image and said, I want Alcantara, because it just fit to the image of the car. That's why I'm really happy that you've put Alcantara in the car, because it just suits the car. It's an incredibly sporting SUV.
From a brand that makes Valkyrie, I think it's a natural thing to just sort of bring in some of these elements. So in terms of availability of these cars, so we've been working with a JWW Aston Martin. So if you are interested, there's a wonderful man there by the name of Guy who has helped us on this journey. So he's taking care of all of the orders for the UK and Europe, and we'll announce soon our partner in America. So what's great as well about Q is that it can be available as a left or a right-hand drive car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mate.
Global way of specing and specifying very unique cars. I mean, they are bespoke to you, the customer, or in this instance, bespokely specced by yourself.
Fantastic. Well, we've got plenty of work now to make this car happen, but honestly, to be here making this announcement, stood here with you, I feel just beyond honoured, and I can't wait to share this thing. I mean, I think it looks good, and hopefully the audience will too.
It does. It looks incredible.
It'll be cool. So
thanks. Really does.
Thank you for your time, Marek.
Thank you.
Pleasure. All right, so that's it. First stage. Massive thank you to Marek, Q Division, and Guy at HWM. On that point, if you do want to receive any more information about the car, please feel free to get in touch with HWM using the information below. But importantly, this journey is going to span over quite a few months. We're going to take you through developing our own paint. We'll take you through designing the badge and where that's made, and also all of the intricacies and details that go into making a bespoke Aston Martin. So now's your opportunity, really. We're at stage one. Leave your questions and comments below as to what you would like to see from this series. And that's it. Massive announcement. Really honoured to be part of it, and I look forward to sharing the actual car with you very soon. As always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Ciao. This is bonkers, man.